Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 28 of 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. I'm Gray Hair Dave. My hair is gray. My name is Dave. I have the same kind of glasses basically as the guy in the artwork, except I believe he's a little better looking. So, anyways, welcome to episode 28. I'm glad you're back. You know, I was listening to some things last night on podcasts, and one said that I should tell you or try to relate with you with the problem that I'm going to talk about. Well, and that makes a lot of sense to me. It's just like if you're an adult, and I don't have kids, okay, but I've had kids. I've had stepkids, and I've lived with Donovan, who I mentioned before, and people understand and relate to you better if you're doing it through a story. I found this to be true. If you can relate to them in a story and let them know things that you've been through, things you've done, or what they're doing and why they're doing it, and how maybe you could you could affect some change there. If you can do it by talking with them instead of talking at them, I think that that's much more. It works better. It's much more effective. There's the way. I believe my brothers did that with their kids. I know that my parents did it with me. Now, on those occasional times that I might have done something wrong, and I have to admit, those I'm sure were very, very few, very, very far between. Because folks, if you know me at all, that I was just an angel when I was growing up. Yeah. I'm so glad that my parents didn't spank kids. Yeah, because my parents never did. My parents did not ever spank me. I never heard of them spanking my brothers. Brothers, if they have, let me know. But they just didn't. And again, they may have been worn out from my brothers by the time I came around. I don't know. But my parents reasoned with me, and I tell you what, that look of disappointment from either of them was far worse than any spanking I could have ever gotten. I'm serious, folks. Oh my gosh. My parents had that look down to an art form. God love them for that. I am so happy that I was raised the way I was, because I believe that it's easier on the child because you're not, you're not physically attacking them. And I believe that spanking once in a while might not be a terrible thing. If your child's gonna run out in a road and you spank them just for the shock value, so they know you can never do that again. Those types of things I think are important. I was blessed to have grown up on a slow street. There were cars, but you were taught respect of the cars, and that came from my parents, and it came from my brothers. And we, as friends, we looked out for each other. Hey, here comes a car. If we're playing in the road, hey, here comes a car. Get out of the road, or just little things like that. And we weren't entitled to the point where we thought that we owned the road. We knew that the cars owned the road. We owned the grass. Yeah. So there was that. I really believe that was a better way of raising kids than yelling and screaming, and I may have yelled and screamed at some of the kids. I don't know. But you get to the point of frustration, and you can get to the point of frustration and raise your voice without raising your hand. That's my belief. And again, folks, take this from somebody who's never had their own kids, but has helped raise stepchildren and a boy who turned into a great man, and his sister too, who was a great woman. I'm sorry. I they've never done anything that would have ever made me want to raise my hand. And granted, with the two girls in the second marriage, there were many, many times that a hand could have been raised, and I think that's what they were looking for. But that's not who I was, you know. Plus, as a stepfather or whatever, I don't believe I have the right to hit your child. Or that's you're not my child. How do I have the right to hit you? I have the right to scold. I have the right to discipline. I have the right to protect. But the main thing is to protect you and them. So, anyways, that's enough of that ranting. It's not exactly where I wanted this one to go. But let's get back to Chat GPT and their little list for me, huh? Today, Chat GPT says I should talk travel tips for seniors. Talk about people who inspired you throughout your life. Now, wait a minute. Advise others on traveling as you get older. Well, I can't do that. I don't do a lot of traveling. I don't. I just don't. I'm single. Uh, and once in a while, I'll run over to the beach for the day, and rare. That's rare anymore. I'm a homebody now. I don't like that. I need to change that. But it's one of those things where I really can't advise you on that. But I think I see online a lot of my friends are traveling and vacationing and enjoying their retirement or their senior. They're not even senior years, folks. Not a one of us who is of my generation, baby boomers or the generation before, feels as old as they are. You got to remember that. I don't feel what my age is. My brain still thinks I'm in my 20s. Now, there are days that my body says, oh, no, no, you are not. You can't do that anymore. But my brain still thinks I can. So the brain and the soul are willing, but the body is saying, oh, no, no, you can't do that. So, and I'm going to be honest too. I don't hear or see my friends of my generation constantly talking about their ailments. We have them, we get through them, we go on. I think that's a good thing. I really, really do. Something that I wanted to talk about also really quickly was my friends who I'm not in contact with anymore. If you're listening to this, how you doing? Glad you're listening. Proud of you. You've all made it. That's something to be said now. We're getting up in age and we've lost a few people in our graduating classes and classes that we knew. And that's going to happen a little more frequently as we go on. But that's the life of a baby boomer. But the ones who keep active, the ones who keep their mind active, live a little longer, have a little more fun, and hopefully don't suffer as much. So let's get off that sad point and let's go on to our segment called Because I Can, I Believe I Must, or I Have to. Here's what I want to talk about today. So, this entitled generation, I'm not even going to call it generation, these entitled people who think that their gripe is more important than anything else going on in your life. I got to complain about this because you have to know that I'm not happy. There's a phrase called spin up a rope. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But I'm sorry. I don't need to hear your constant complaining. Do you hear me constantly complaining? No, you don't hear. You may hear me complaining about a situation, and then it's over. You go on to the next thing. It's stupid, I'm entitled, so you have to listen to my complaints. Horse pucky. I'm sorry. That's just out and out, right? Horse pocky. Excuse the plosives on that, but that's horse pocky. So that's my rant today, kid folks. Kids, if you're out there listening to this and you got to constantly complain about, you got to listen to me, I got a grievance. Put a sock in it. So, folks, this is gray haired Dave saying, hey, if you got a comment or a concern or anything, go to my website, 5minuteswithgrayhairdave.com. That's the number 5minuteswithgrayhairdave.com. Click on the little icon in the bottom right-hand corner that looks like a microphone and leave me a message. I will respond. I promise I will respond. And also, folks, if you like this show, do me a favor, rate it so I know that you do. You can go to the website or you can go to the player that you're using it on, and you can give it a 1 to a 4-star or 5-star, whatever. If you don't like it, let me know what you'd like me to change. If you'd like me to shut up, I'd like you to find another podcast. Anyways, folks, that's it for today. This is 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. This has been episode number 28. I have enjoyed it. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Stay tuned, and I will be there soon.